For this drill, you're going to need something to elevate your foot on. So I'm using a yoga block at the moment, but you can use anything. Stair ledges work really well, books, weight plates, something like that. Just high enough so you can elevate the front part of your foot, like so. The other thing you'll need is something to rest your hands on. So I'm using this black box at the moment. At home, I really like to use a chair. They work pretty well. As long as it's about, yay high, just a bit taller than your knees. For this movement, we're going to place the ball of our foot up on our yoga block or step or book. From here, we're going to hinge from our hips, send our hips back, keeping our leg locked nice and straight. And we're going to come all the way down till we have our back parallel with the floor. Now, I actually don't mind if you only come so far down and then you have to round your back to come down to your support. But I'd like to be working towards starting to straighten your back out here. Great, now from here, to gauge how much of a stretch you would like, the stretch we're aiming for is in our calves, so a lot of intensity might be felt maybe just below the backs of your knees, but somewhere in the calf area. We're going to start to walk our hands forward, bringing our hips forward with us, keeping our back nice and low, and stopping once we feel the stretch. At this point, we're going to hold the stretch for about 30 to 45 seconds, depending on which level you're at. Breathing in and out. If you need a little more, maybe you tilt your butt up towards the ceiling just a little bit more. Actively continue to straighten that front leg. And maybe as you feel your body relax more and more into the stretch, you come just a little bit further forwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk our hands back and we come back up. And we switch legs. So remember, ball of foot elevated, leg locked nice and straight, hinging from our hips, butt goes back, chest comes all the way down, trying to keep our back as flat as possible, but rounding if we need to get our back parallel with the floor. And then we start to bring our hips forward as we walk our hands forward, keeping that leg locked nice and straight. Once you're at your point of stretch, we start counting. 30 to 45 seconds. Long breaths in. Long breaths out. Actively straightening that leg. Maybe walk your hands a little bit further forwards. Another way you can intensify this stretch or progress it a little further is if you start to take some weight out of your hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk your hands back. Start to come up. This is our 90-90 glute stretch. To begin with, you're going to start in a position seated. Your feet placed flat on the ground in front of you, like this. From here, we're going to windscreen wiper our legs, so our knees. I'm going to start by going to my left-hand side. And as they come down, you'll fall in a position with a lot of right angles in it. You'll notice right angle here, right angle here. This is the shape we want. Your left sit bone will be on the ground, your left glute will be on the ground. So there's a bit of yoga talk. And your right glute will be off the ground. From here, you're going to turn your chest to face the direction of your left knee. It's my left knee in this case. You're going to place your hands either side of that leg. And you're going to reach your chest forwards, seeking for a stretch somewhere in your left glute or your left outer hip there. Great, and then you're going to come up. I'm going to repeat this on the other side. So hands beside you, knees come up, knees to the right. Make sure you've got all your right angles happening. Hands either side, hinge forward from your hips and reach your chest forwards. Awesome, now from here we're simply going to do 10 reps either side. So hands beside you, knees go to the left, reach your chest to the left. As far as you can forwards. I say forwards, not downwards. We want to try and keep our chest lifted and lengthening. We come up. 2. If you like, you can do it without your hands. If you feel like you need a little bit of extra challenge, get into your hips a little bit more. 3. Each rep, see if you can come just that little bit further forwards. Trying to increase our range of motion here. 4. 5. 'Keep an eye on your legs as you do it. Make sure you've got all those right angles happening. 6. If you like, you don't have to come as far forward, you just work to your own degree. Maybe it's only to there. 7. Got 3 more either side. 9. Now on our last rep, so we're on our 10th rep on the first side, we're going to come to our point of stretch. And from here, we're going to press our left knee and our left shin down into the ground as hard as we can. And we're going to reach our chest forward as far as we can. We're going to hold it here for 10 seconds, turning on all those muscles that we're stretching. We're going to take a really big, deep breath in, and then going to stop pushing and see if we can go a little bit deeper on the exhale. Great, and then we're going to come up. Go to the other side. Windscreen wiper our legs over. Reach our chest as far forward as we can. Start to press down as hard as we can through our right knee, right shin. It's only for 10 seconds, so push as hard as you can, using all the muscles that we've been stretching. Take a deep breath in. Relax everything on the breath out and see if you can come just that little bit further. Awesome. And then we'll come up. And we're done. To begin with, you're going to set your legs up nice and wide. So to measure that out, you're going to toe heel your feet apart from each other. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a rough estimation. You might take them a little bit further apart. You might take them a little bit closer, but you'll have to figure that out for yourself. It'll be somewhere around that range though. I'll come side on so you can see what I'm doing better. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to lock our legs out nice and straight. Kneecaps are lifted. We're activating our quads. We're going to start to hinge from our hips, send our hips back. I'm also tilting my pelvis forward a little bit. So you see I poke my bum out a little bit as I do it. Keeping my back flat for as far as I can. I'm going to hinge from my hips. And the goal here will be to touch my hands down as far back as I can. So once I've gone as far as I can with my back flat, I'm allowed to round it. And the goal will be to touch the ground somewhere back here, somewhere measurable though, would be really great. So you can stay consistent and try and beat it each round. If that's too much for you, you're simply going to set yourself up a different height target. I've got a yoga block here, and you're going to follow all the same cues and touch that target there. Great. 10 reps of this. So we've already done 1. That's 2. My feet are parallel with each other. Toes maybe even pointing a little bit inwards. Squeezing my legs towards this center line of my body. 3. 4. Trying to keep my back flat for as long as possible, and maybe a little longer each time. 5. 6. Keep tilting your pelvis, your butt up towards the sky. 7, we've just got 3 more to go. 8. 9, think of nice and long through the backs of your legs. 9, and for this last one, we're going to hold for 10 seconds. Lengthen, reach back a little bit further than last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up with control. Bring your feet back together. We're going to be focusing mainly on our spinal rotation and our shoulder flexion. And we're going to be using a wall. To begin with, you're going to start facing away from the wall. Not too far, but also not too close. I'm going to take my right hand here and I'm going to place it behind me, flat on the wall, with my fingers facing upwards. From here, I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to make a big circle. This is a really important quality to the movement and it will benefit you later with progressing it. I'm making a big circle, brushing my left ear with my bicep. My right fingertips pivot inwards and I match that with my left hand. I reverse the process to come out. My right hand sweeps that big circle and my left fingertips pivot back up towards the ceiling. From here, we simply repeat that on the other side. Left hand reaches back, touches the wall. Right hand, big circle. Don't cheat that circle. Pivot my left fingertips inwards. Match it with my right hand. Reverse. Reach out. And from here, we're simply going to do 5 reps total each side. So that was 1. Right hand reaches back, left hand sweeps nice and wide. Now as my fingertips pivot, I come onto the knife edge of my hands. And what I mean by that is I mean this outer edge of my hands when I'm touching the wall. So from here it's palms flat, right hand sweeps, big circle, send your hips forward. I come onto this knife edge of my hands. And I sweep back, fingers towards the ceiling. That's 2. Hand reaches back. Now what's the lower half of my body doing here? I'm squeezing my glutes to take the pressure out of my lower back. And I'm sending my hips forward and trying to take some weight into my feet here. Take some weight out of my hands. Might be a better cue for that. Reach back. Big circle, sweep, brush your ears. And that makes 3. 2 more both ways. In your own time, feel that movement through your body. Try and find space across your chest here. Hand flat. Don't forget that circle. I can't emphasize that enough. Now the way you would progress this movement, last round, is you would start to walk your hands further and further down the wall until eventually you would come to the ground. For those of you that would like to work from the ground, or at least try it, I'll offer that option in the next video. We begin in a squat position. And from here, we follow exactly the same cues that we practiced from the wall. So I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to reach it back behind me, and I'm going to fall into it slightly. Fingers are going to be facing directly back behind me. Now from here, I'm going to remember that big circle with my left hand. As it sweeps, I'm going to come up onto the balls of my feet, and I'm going to send my hips and knees as far forward as I can, taking as much weight into my feet as I can, brushing my ear with that circle, knife edge of my hands, sweep to come back out. Don't forget that circle. Little rock back, little rock forward. One more back the other way. Left hand behind me, slight fall into that hand, fingers face behind me. Right hand sweeps, knees come forward, glutes are switched on to take the pressure out of my lower back. This elbow, really important, it comes through as my fingers face towards each other. Hand sweeps, other hand pivots, little rock back, little rock forwards. You're going to sit yourself down, legs out in front of you, knees slightly bent like so. You're going to take your hands, you're going to reach them around behind you so your fingers are facing backwards. Your palms are placed flat on the ground and your pinky fingers are touching each other. From here, you're simply going to slide or walk your butt cheeks forward until you start to feel a stretch. That stretch could be in a variety of different places. Could be somewhere in your forearms, biceps, fronts of your shoulders, across your chest. Could be in any or all of those different places. But once you find yourself there, you're going to activate just a little. So you're going to try and draw your palms back towards you. You're not going to let them come, but you're going to try, almost like you're trying to drag yourself backwards by sliding the palms of your hands back towards you on the ground. And you're going to sit here for about 30 to 45 seconds, depending on where you're at today. Keeping active, but trying not to hold your breath at all. Encouraging as much relaxation through our body as we can to help calm our nervous system and tell it that these different ranges are safe and comfortable, so that we can become more familiar and comfortable in these ranges of motion as we continue to practice these stretches. Try and draw your chest forward to encourage that stretch just a little bit more for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sitting up, coming out of it. And that's our shoulder extension stretch.